I baked them some banana cake or some banana bread this weekend
Yeah.
when my Lola came and visited us in Cagaite, and no one would touch it. Like his pinsans, his titas, no one will eat it. And I told Jonathan, I'm like, I'm so sad. I don't think they like my food that I cooked. And Jonathan's like, oh no, I'll be supportive. I'll have a bite. So
Yeah.
he took a little bite, and then everyone else was like, ooh, what's this?
Well, thank you for listening and watching your favorite podcast. This is the Maximum Filipino Show. Thank you for coming back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and like this video right away. Hit that like button. Right now, we're doing we're doing Learn Filipino Pod. Learn Filipino Pod is a segment or a channel in our YouTube podcast vodcast where we learn about Filipino culture, Filipino things that you would want to know. But right now it's a privilege and it's an honor for us. Things that a lot of Filipino needs to learn, and things for a lot of people who wants to marry or meet Filipinos want to learn, want to know. This is the podcast for you because, man, we have an amazing guest. She's awesome. She's funny. She makes a lot of TikTok videos, Instagram, and man, did some great, interesting content. Just like the other content creator that we had here as a guest, I found her on TikTok, or I found them on TikTok. Usually in Learn Filipino Pod, we guest Filipinos to showcase them, but this time we have Anne as our guest.
Yeah.
And you're gonna know why she's our guest. But welcome, Anne. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to meet you guys and talk to you today.
Yes, that's awesome. All right, and first and foremost, let me ask you this. I always ask our guests this, okay? Why did you say yes to this podcast?
I'm curious.
I'm curious.
Well, I said yes. Well, this is, I think, my third podcast that I've been a guest on, or have the privilege to be a guest on. And I really love podcasts, and I especially love that you guys are trying to bring more awareness to the Filipino culture, especially coming from more of like a Philam perspective. I think is really interesting, and I don't think it's always heard like a more Philam perspective and culture and things, because I have a lot of followers on TikTok that are, Filipinos that live in another country, and sometimes their voices aren't heard or their perspectives aren't really highlighted. So I was super excited that you reached out to me, and that's why I said yes.
That's awesome. So the other podcast that you've done, what are the topics? Like, what do you guys talk about?
The first podcast I did, it's actually not released yet. I think the person had some like family stuff going on. But that one we just kind of talked about like family stuff in general, Filipino culture in general, and then the second one was more about content creating.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, content creating. Well, we're gonna hit both.
All right.
We're gonna do both. We're gonna talk about Filipino, of course. I'm Filipino and he's Filipino at heart.
Yeah, I'm Samoan and he's Samoan at heart as well.
Yes. We have this ongoing joke whenever we're in public, because we're best friends. We've been friends for, I don't even know, 15 years maybe?
Yeah, about.
Yeah. We've been friends for a long time, and when we're public, we're walking around and he's wearing sarong because he's Samoan,
Yeah.
And people will ask us, are you Samoan? I say yes.
Yeah, and if someone say if we're Filipino, I say yes.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to explain, you know what I mean?
That's question.
Right. Speaking of, I don't want to say complicated things to explain. All right, let's dive in right away. So I have some questions in here, some questions that I sent you, simple questions. Things like, so you're married to a Filipino, and this is the main core of this podcast. You married a Filipino.
I was tripping out when he told me that you are who our guest was. So I'm looking forward to hear what you gotta say.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about marrying a Filipino? Like when you were a kid, like someday I'm gonna marry a Filipino.
No, so I think there's like a misconception, like a white girl especially marries an Asian, right? It's like, oh, she must be a Korea boo, she must be this, But what you have to realize about me is I don't really talk about Michigan or about like who I kind of was before college, because it's a little embarrassing sometimes, but
Yeah.
I grew up really conservative. Like, I'm the youngest of 5. I
Okay.
wasn't allowed to wear pants till I was 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You was conservative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up like really rural, white Michigan,
Yeah.
West Michigan. So if you know that area, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
very Dutch, very, white. So even if I saw someone of color in my hometown, I was like,
Oh.
So I didn't even know where the Philippines was. I didn't have any connection. I think one lady was like a missionary who was Filipino at my church growing up, but I had no connection to the Philippines whatsoever until I met Jonathan. So before you did it for the clout, I'm like, I didn't even know what the clout was.
Okay. I think I need to book myself to go to West Michigan and
Right. Yeah, because
you might get some stares.
Yeah,
because
we're from Michigan. We're in like a Lansing area of Michigan, and we don't have a lot of Filipino communities around here. Like, it's so crazy that when you see Filipinos in Michigan, it's specifically like northern part of Michigan, like, oh man, especially Upper Peninsula. When you see a Filipino, we're like, yo, you're a Filipino? What?
Yeah.
This is awesome. Like, then when we went to Chicago, because one of our relatives is going to the Philippines, we went there and we stopped and we saw Filipinos. Like, oh, they're like, oh, there's another Filipino there. Oh, this is Filipinos. Like, oh, this is it. Filipinos are common here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
brown everywhere there.
So you and Jonathan, where did you guys meet?
We met in Michigan. So
Okay.
I think he was like 21 when he decided to do like internship in the U.S. So his parents have a church here in the Philippines, and then their church is connected to a lot of churches in the U.S., like the Middle Alliance, I think. I don't know. But he decided to do an internship with a bunch of different churches around the U.S., and
Yeah.
then my church was one of them. So he was there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So that's how we kind of got connected. But we didn't actually meet. I just knew who he was. So.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Ah.
All right. Wow. So, from Michigan, huh? My wife is from Michigan. I'm married, and when we moved here, 2012, we started dating 2013, and then from
Yeah,
then,
right away.
2013 to now, we got a house, 2 kids, and a dog. Maybe not in that sequence, but yeah, I got busy.
Yes, you did.
I love the Michiganders. You know what I mean?
A gander.
I know. It's like so when you went to the Philippines, I don't have like just so you know, we don't have like a format because we want to make this
that's
organic, natural as possible.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. When you landed to the Philippines, what was it like?
Yeah.
My first time?
Yes,
Yes.
of course. Yeah, the first time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My first time. I think you can relate to this, but when you land and you step off the plane, suddenly the humidity is like, ooh.
Definitely. Definitely.
That's the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, it's hot and humid.
Yeah.
The first time I visited was like beginning of May, I think, or
Okay.
middle of May. Yeah.
Oh,
So
whoa.
it's still pretty hot.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
Oh,
hot.
she went with the heat of the
Oh,
moment.
that's hot.
Yeah. So I definitely noticed the heat right away. And then once I actually got outside of the airport, I noticed that there's like just a sea of Filipinos, and I was like trying to find Jonathan. So I think
Seas
that's
of Filipinos.
that's what
Solid.
surprised me because when you're in the U.S., there's like a little more diversity, but
Yeah.
then when you're in the Philippines, there's almost none,
Yeah.
right? So I'm just like looking at a sea of black hair, trying to find which one is mine.
And that's
Yeah.
that is not even it's true. Like when you see a bunch of Filipinos, like they all look the same, and and then you mix Filipinos with Mexicans, like they still look all the same. Like what is happening right now? It's the truth. But what was the experience like? How were I'm gonna tell this, and I don't know if you know this, right? Because you are in the Philippines right now, right? Okay, I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but it's a Filipino dream to marry a white woman. I don't know if you know that, but that is a dream.
I'm aware.
So how were the people when you got there? Before I'm gonna ask you later what's some of your culture shock when you landed or when you stayed in the Philippines. But for now, let's stay with people. How are they treating you, or what was it like being around Filipinos when you went there?
Yeah, so I think there's a difference between when I'm visiting and when I'm living here.
Uh-huh.
Because I visited the Philippines, I think, like 4 times before I decided to live here.
Wow.
So I visited a few times, and the usual, if you're a foreigner, you're going to get stared at. Like, that's just normal, whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's a switch between just visiting and being a tourist to being married to a Filipino here. There's suddenly a switch. When people see me and Jonathan together, they treat us way differently than if we're separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a good, treatment or a bad treatment?
It's uncomfortable treatment. Yeah. It's really weird. Like, I would post a little bit about Jonathan before moving here, like our wedding day or whatever. And then as soon as I post a picture of us getting married, all of a sudden my DMs are filled with like foreign guys trying to get with me suddenly. It's so weird. Yeah, like it was just like a switch. Like as soon as they saw, oh, she's married. Oh, I know what she likes.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. It makes me so uncomfortable.
I feel like it's because of the whole. I'm just assuming. Okay, I'm just assuming. I don't know. I haven't asked my wife because my wife, she would like ask me every time she gets a Facebook request from Filipinos, or what she assumes Filipinos are. She will ask me first, like, "Hey, who's this guy? Oh, that's my cousin. Oh, that's my friend. Oh, don't add that person. Oh no, don't talk to that person. I know that person." But I think it's the idea. Like I said, I might be wrong. But the idea of if you're just by yourself, typical Filipinos will get intimidated approaching you. Like coming up to you because first, the language barrier and. They're like, oh, I don't think she's totally out of my league kind of way. But when you're with Jonathan, they're like, oh, if he can get her, I can get her.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they flirt right in front of Jonathan. They make gestures right in front of him. Like, oh, it's so disturbing. Yeah. Imagine you're on a date night. You're trying to celebrate each other's, relationship. And then there's like, oh, it's never people our age, right?
Yeah.
Always old Filipino men in groups of like 4 or 5, and they're like,
and for some reason it's either they're half naked or their shirt is ripped or something. I don't know. It's something.
It doesn't matter at the mall, in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter where we go. And then if I say that at TikTok, they're like, "Oh, it's because you're in the province." I'm like,
I'm so sorry.
Unless I'm in BGC, it's the same treatment everywhere.
Man,
that is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shame on you, fellas. Whoever's watching, shame on you, fellas.
I mean, it's a thing. My cousins are half Americans, half Filipino, so they're Philams. They went to the Philippines, right? All of them. So there's 3 girls and 1 guy. They went to the Philippines. The first time they got there, they went to Jollibee, right? And here not just in Michigan, but here in America, when you're staring at someone and they look back at you, you look away, right? So, oh crap, he's staring at me. Yeah. Not in the Philippines. If they're staring at you and then you look back, they're gonna keep staring at you. Like, holy smokes, there's a white girl.
You can't give them any attention. Because then as soon as the eye contact's made, they're like,
yeah, she's looking at me. I got a chance.
Score.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I don't know if it's the same where you guys live, but when I was living in Chicago for like 5 years, and you do not stare at people in Chicago because that might be the last time you have your
Chicago.
Eyes,
It's Chicago.
Right? Like you can't, you don't know what people are on. You don't know what people are doing. So it was like so scary. All of a sudden, all eyes are on me. I'm like, am I going to be abducted? Because that's what Chicago culture. You can't look at anyone. You have to be like,
right.
walking with your head down or your head up.
I could only imagine what your boy feels when you're getting all that attention.
Oh, dude, he'd be proud. I mean, for me at least, like a little bit. At least the first time, the first few times, it's like, oh yeah, that's my girl. Until it's like, oh, you're being creepy. You need to stay away from my girl. I don't want this. I don't want,
Yeah.
And you can't say anything about Chicago. You live in California. What do you mean?
I'm just saying. I know about Chicago. I know the reputation. The reputation of Chicago goes all the way to the west.
It's a recurring joke between us because now he lives in Michigan with us, but he used to live in California. He still lives there, but he's
I'm visiting. Just here, for a very long period of time.
For a very long period of time. But we have a recurring joke how I hate California government, not the state. I love the state, and all that, but just the government. But yeah, we have that recurring thing.
I mean, you gotta love California somehow. I mean, I get it, government's bad.
I haven't been there.
Anyway,
Let's talk about Jonathan real quick. I know he's not here.
I wish I'd seen him.
I know, and he's pure Filipino, right? Like he was born and raised in the Philippines. Yeah. Okay, and then
Manila boy.
Manila boy.
He's from
right
Manila.
next to my heart. Yeah, that's not right next to my heart for sure. And then he went to Michigan for studies. You said.
For an internship. So he went to the U.S. for a total of like 6 months for his internship. He's been visiting before because he has like family there. Both of his grandmas live there. Right. Some titas, of course, some nurses. But he was just doing the internship alone for 6 months. So he went to like all the different states: California, New Jersey, New York. Oh, wow. He just stayed at my church for 2 weeks. Gotcha. So that's how like we first got acquainted, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, my boy stayed 6 months in America. And got a girl. Yo, I'm gonna dab him if I see him. Yo, 6 months internship and got home. Mom, Dad, I don't have a job, but man, I got a girl.
Okay, 6 months internship, but you have to hear what she just said. 2 weeks at her church.
Oh,
and
dang.
Scored.
He did the right thing, though. He did the right thing.
I have to say it that way.
The church, like church. You gotta stay in church.
No better place to find one at the church.
Exactly. That's the right way. That's the right thing to do.
Oh man,
dude. So how did he pursue you? Because he's from the Philippines, like 6 months, 2 weeks is not enough to learn American culture and how Americans ask each other out. Like, even now, I've been in America for 10 years. Actually, it's exactly 10 years. And I still drag some of the, how to pursue women, how to, the culture of dating. I know. I'm talking about like when I pursue my wife, and even now, because even though we're married, we're still dating. Like the dating doesn't stop. So I still have that culture because that's like ingrained into my system. So how did he pursue you, and how did that look like?
So I think the main thing is we were friends first, and we talked all the time first. Like I didn't think that he would even like me because we have like a 4-year age gap, and I knew about him like through the internship. I didn't really talk to him, but my parents heard him preach. I was in Sunday school helping with the kids, so gotcha. I didn't hear him preach, but my parents did, and they're like, "Oh, he's such a nice guy," whatever. Yeah. And so then when we started messaging on Facebook, it's a long story, but I found a stray cat, and then I put it on Facebook because I wanted someone to adopt it. And then he messaged me because of that. He's like, "Oh, I would take the cat, but I'm just a tourist here." And I was like, so cute. That's how he like, I guess, slid into my DMs. Yeah, talking about animals and cats. And I'm kind of a farm girl, so I was all over it. I was like, yes, a guy that loves a cat.
He knows how to talk. All right.
Yeah. But we just were friends first. We talked about a lot of things, especially because he's traveling alone, and he would take trains to like California or other places, so he had a lot of free time on his hands. So we just like talked about everything, about books that we had read together, songs, like literally anything. And I would stay up until like 2 a.m. talking to him, and then I would like go to practice for school at like 7 a.m. And I'm a sleeper. I'm a sleep person, and I was giving up my sleep for him. So
Yeah,
love was in the air there.
That's one thing. That's one thing that I would attest to a lot of Filipinos. We're good with texting and calling. Like that's 100% that what we do a lot. And now that you live in it, how long have you been in the Philippines now?
It'll be like a year and a half soon.
Ooh, wow. A year and a half. So you starting you're starting to learn some of the, or a lot of the culture and then what's going on. And Filipinos are open-minded too. Like open book, and open-minded. Like we'll tell you what's going on about our life, and we'll teach you. So yeah, we're good with texting. We text all the time. You see us.
Definitely. I picked that up when I was out there too. So.
Yeah. Hey, do you have a load? Can you give me some load?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So pursuing, huh? Okay. Yeah. Is he because you said he interns in the church, or 2 weeks in the church, and he preaches? Is he a pastor? Is that the kind of internship he's doing?
Now he is a pastor, yeah.
Oh,
nice. Not a full-time pastor. Okay. His parents are full-time pastors, but he, I think the difference here with Filipino churches is there's a lot more pastors, but all of them basically have full-time jobs as well, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. I'm a youth pastor in our church, and the reason why he's staying here because I recruited him to be the worship director in our church.
So I'm a worship leader there.
Yeah, that's. And then we do this for fun because we love talking to people, we love talking to Filipinos and content creators, and people like you who want to learn and get involved about Filipinos. So this is awesome. Did you notice anything different when he like pursued you, or anything that's like, oh, this is very unique, I've never experienced things like this before?
Yeah, so Jonathan was like the first guy I ever dated, and obviously I had crushes before, and like little like ooh hee hee hee, we both like each other,
right?
You know. But when I met Jonathan, I was like I had like a whole drama thing with some friends from church, and this like one guy, so I was deeply hurt. I was like, I will never look at a guy again, you know.
Oh, man.
I was like 17. I was like,
So
never gonna get married, never gonna date. Boys are awful. But I think Jonathan's approach was so pure because he got to know me first as a friend, which I really appreciated, before actually pursuing me. And he's like such a gentleman, and I think, not to like put down American men, but y'all need to step up your game. Like, the way you're treating my friends are awful. Like, American men are so rude sometimes. And Jonathan is such a sweetheart. Like, the first time I was there, he's doing all my laundry, he's cooking for me, he's cleaning for me.
Props to Jonathan.
Like,
props to Jonathan.
Yes.
You boy, you make us proud.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
an
is
actual gentleman.
Yeah, that is a complete Filipino tradition. That if we're pursuing the girl that we like, you know, there are many steps, and one of the first steps is to meet the parents. You got to talk to the parents first. You got to get to know the family, and then this is like he's doing the real traditional Filipinos, where they go to the girl's house and do all the chores that you mentioned. Like, you have to win the parents before you win the girl, and he did the right thing.
Nice.
Dude. Man, he makes me so happy. He makes me so happy.
Me too.
That's good.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Scored one.
Right? 1-2 Filipinos.
Yes.
Yo, okay, let's talk about some of the culture shock that you've had, you know, when you first visit and now that you're living in the Philippines. Because I know, I mean, a year, you're still probably experiencing some culture shock or things that's like, oh, what is that? What is going on? Yeah, tell us some of your stories.
Well, of course, the staring is one of them, but I'm pretty used to it now. Like, just, you know, normal people staring at me. I just don't like older guys when they're like, laser eyed.
Right. That's everywhere, though. You know, it doesn't have to be in the Philippines. You can be in, like, you know, Detroit or downtown Grand Rapids, and you will have that.
Right, but if you can't speak the language, how am I supposed to advocate for myself?
Yeah, that's true.
You know. But yeah, I guess that's one culture shock. And then we think of, this happened at first. Someone in my family said this to me, and then I think Jonathan was like, you can't say that to an American girl. But they're like, you've gained weight. Or, you lost weight and that. Oh my, eat more rice. I'm like, I've stayed the same weight. What's wrong with you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That is right.
Because it's very taboo to say that in the U.S., right?
Very.
You would tell someone that to their face. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
And then when you and Jonathan started to have family, be ready when people start asking you, "Are you pregnant?" Because that's a common thing in the Philippines. Yeah, and you can't do that here. I learned that in the hard way. I asked the girl, "Are you pregnant?" She's like, "Oh, do you think I'm fat?" And you know what's the worst part? She's not pregnant.
Yeah. And my family doesn't really ask me that because they know that me and Jonathan do not want to have kids right now. Right. So like it's more of just strangers or like people on TikTok live are you pregnant? And it's so inconsiderate too because like 1 in 4 women suffer with child loss, you know?
Yeah.
Or miscarriages.
Right.
So it's not like I don't personally get offended, but I get offended for other women. They're asking that, you know. Right. You never know,
right?
You know,
right. Yeah, I mean, just to be safe, I don't ask. Like I don't ask at all. I don't ask the age. I don't ask the, you know.
Those are just. I
don't ask
those questions. I don't touch.
Almost
ask,
anything.
Or think.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't know. Or think. Well, you do that a lot. All right. So you're from States, right? And you met Jonathan here in America. You visited in the Philippines multiple times, but you stayed in the Philippines. I'm curious, why did you stay in the Philippines?
Yeah, so when we got married, it was January 10th of 2020, so just before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So we got married, and then our original plan was that I would visit 6 months later in like June and have like a bigger wedding with like his family, because our only first wedding only had like 35 people. It was really, really small, just our closest friends and family on like a little beach in Bel Air. So it was really small. So I was going to visit him, and then we were going to like turn in the application process for him to move to the US by like December or something. So we'd only really be long distance for like a year of marriage, and I'd visit halfway between. But then the pandemic happened, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way. All this paperwork's going to be turned in on time. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. So, and for the paperwork, for like what is it called? A marriage visa. Yeah. You have to have different proofs, like to prove that you're really married. And the only proofs that we both had out of 12 was we both had a valid ID. You need to have like a joint bank account or like a car or something together. So I was like, let's go to the Philippines. I was over it. And I was over the US too, you know. Sometimes you get sick of your own country. So.
Interesting. So are you planning to stay there forever? Or for a long time?
I don't know. We don't really know specifically. It's both of our goals to be like dual citizens in both countries. So eventually we'll have to go to the US.
the roll in their eyes.
Do you love Philippines?
Oh, man.
What do you like the most in the Philippines?
There's so many things I love.
Besides, besides Jonathan.
Besides my guapo asawa.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I love the people and the culture of community, because in the US, I think if you're having a hard time or you're discouraged, you're not feeling close to your community, it's really hard to fix that. It's really hard to find a good community, especially a good church community. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I really just love the community aspect here. Like, people actually care about you, and, you know, it's just a lot different. Like, especially with the pasalubong, you know, people, you go to another province, they bring you back a gift or whatever.
Pasalubong.
But it's so sweet because people, you know, it's not just like, oh, I have to give a gift. Like, they give a gift that shows that they know you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the issue in the US is people don't know each other. They don't take the time to know each other. They're not intentional.
Right.
So, like, if you need support, it's hard to get it.
I see.
Dude.
Is there anything that you feel that some of the practices that in the Philippines would be very beneficial here in the US?
Yeah, probably just caring about each other more. It's crazy, like, especially during election season here, there's like people who will disagree with elections, right?
Yeah.
Or who they're voting for, but they'll still be friends. In the US, it's like unfriend.
Yeah.
Block.
Right.
We're never talking to each other again.
I disown you. You're not part of my family anymore.
Yeah. Never gonna talk to you again. How dare you vote for that person?
Yo, that's crazy.
Now, knowing that you're still, you know, in the Philippines for over a year, did you pick up any of the mannerism, behaviors, or even the dictation?
I heard you said opo, so that's a big one. That's a big one.
Also, did you learn the language?
Yeah.
And all that?
Yeah, so I'm currently learning some of the language, but I probably should be taking language classes, but I'm not yet. But I probably should, because I really want to be fluent in Tagalog. But I'm also a little bit dyslexic, so learning languages are so hard for me. But I really, really, really want to try. Because if we ever have kids, I would definitely want them to be at least bilingual.
Yes.
So.
Yep. Yeah.
So how about the dictation? So what I mean by dictation, you know how they have an accent in the Philippines? In English?
No? Diba? No?
Stuff like expressions.
What are you talking about?
Because I was out there for 4.5 years, and over time I ended up building up their accent so I could actually talk with them. It's like, over there, and how about this? How about this? You know,
it's funny because this is the funniest thing. Because earlier, when I almost said, instead of Jonathan, I said Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan. You know, those dictations. Did you pick it up, or are you still getting there?
Yeah, I definitely could speak in a Filipino accent if I wanted to, especially when I'm around my parents or family after like a couple of days. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, like my father-in-law always says, "Oi," you know.
She got the expression too. Oh, nice.
Yeah, things like that.
Ay nako. Sus Marioso. So like when I talk to my dad, especially my dad on the phone, and then my wife can overhear us, my dad loves to say, oh. You know, when they say, oh, like, oh, yeah. And then my wife will pick it up, and then she will say it like across the room. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh man, and like what else? Now you said you saw a sea of Filipinos. What I saw was a sea of vehicles. Did that not bother you at all?
Not really. Sometimes if it's like a taxi driver and they're very aggressive and there's like no AC on, then I get a little car sick, when they're like, when they're in traffic.
Okay.
But normally it's fine. And yeah, I think commuting is hard if you're like on a jeepney or whatever, but if you're in like a Grab or a taxi, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
so you do? Okay, you take taxis or
Grab. Guess we don't have Uber no more.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
no
Yeah,
Uber.
they banned Uber.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know about that. So, is that your main transportation? Because when I was out there, I mean, jeepneys and tricycles were part of my means of transportation, but I mostly walked because I can't afford to jump on a taxi or anything. Walking was my best thing out there.
Yeah, it's definitely pricey to take like a Grab, but Jonathan and I both work from home, so we probably
nice.
only go out. Well, I only go out of the house maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it still
Yeah,
strict to
because-
go out or?
Probably could go out more, but I still only have a US phone. I don't have a Filipino phone.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I mostly go out if it's just with Jonathan and his family because he's still worried about me going out alone, especially with some
Yeah.
experiences.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I want to go out a lot more, but he's like, you probably should stay here, or he'll offer to go out with me. Yeah.
I believe you can handle yourself. You just said
Oh,
you're a farm girl, so
100%.
like, she
100%.
Yeah.
she can help herself.
I can handle myself, and I mean, I lived like a single woman in Chicago for five years, so I'm used to being like behind my back, bringing my car keys.
Yep, she already built up her rap, so she knows how to take care of herself. Yeah, come on, Jonathan, give her, a little bit.
No, but
Yeah.
I totally understand.
But the
'Cause
thing is, if something happens to me, oh my goodness, he has such a responsibility to my parents. Every time we call, he's like, "Don't worry, Anna's safe. I'm feeding her. I'm taking care of her." So he's always trying to make sure
Jonathan.
my parents
yeah.
still really like him.
I got
which
you.
he
That's
doesn't
good.
have to do. But.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah, but I know you can take care of yourself. I totally agree. And I'm going to tell the same thing to my wife. I know you can take care of yourself. But because we're planning to go to the Philippines next year, October, just to visit. And I'm going to tell her the same thing. I don't want you going anywhere. You're going to stick right next to me. We're going to go anywhere you want, as long as I'm with you.
I don't think she'll be daring to be going out, roaming out.
I think she'll be scared to catch.
I mean, she's not as daring as her, but yeah.
Yeah, she's from Grand Ledge, so she's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I used to walk alone in the neighborhood, and then Jonathan was like, "Oh, they have a code name for you now." I was like,
Oh no!
and then I started crying. I got so scared. So now he goes on walks with me.
Wait, they have a code. Do you know the code name?
No, because it's in Tagalog.
Oh.
Man, I want to know what that
But,
code
yeah.
name is. Huh? Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Have you been speaking of traveling and going places? Have you been to some places in the Philippines? And what did you like the most?
Ooh, yeah, I recently went to Ilocos for like a family trip. It was who was it? Oh yeah, it was our dad's birthday, so he wanted to go to Ilocos. So I've been to Ilocos, Boracay, Siargao,
My
Tagaytay, of
goodness.
course, Tanay,
She traveled.
Palawan,
Oh wow.
Sagara, Baguio.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wow. I lived in the Philippines for 21 years. I've never been to any of those places ever in my entire life.
Nah, I've been there for 4.5 years. I've only been to a few places. I haven't been to the tourist spots that you've been to. I've been to the very northern part of Luzon, Ambra, and as we
You went to
traveled-
Davao
Davao. Yeah, I went to Davao.
and Baguio.
Baguio, Cebu, and
Oh, me too. I forgot.
Bohol.
Cebu is beautiful, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I saw you guys' I saw your post, your pinned post on TikTok. It says, we can't afford anything else because of the whole Cebu thing. And I told Jonathan we can't afford a ring. I might be wrong, but you guys went somewhere and get a ring. So tell us the story about, your wedding and that whole wedding thing in the Philippines and your experience.
Yeah. So like I said before, this was gonna be our first wedding, but we had like 2 more planned later. So like this was just like our close friends. then we're gonna have a wedding with Jonathan's like extended family, because there's a lot of family here, right?
Yeah.
Like just 35 people
yeah.
isn't enough for the whole family.
Oh yeah.
And then one more in the US with my family.
Yes.
But because of COVID, we just had our initial wedding. So for that, I think I had 1 semester left of school. So in between my winter and spring semester, I had like three weeks off. So I flew to the Philippines, stayed there for like a week first. Our documents, we didn't have all the documents we needed, I guess. We forgot one. Yeah, but the embassy in Manila is always full. So they said the only way you can get in is if there's like a cancellation. And we didn't live near the embassy, so if there's a cancellation, how are you going through traffic to get in right away? There's no way. So that's why we had to suddenly spend and like the next day fly out to Cebu to get the document we needed. It's just one document, $50.
Oh man.
So we're there for like 26 hours just for that one document.
Yeah.
And then that's why that was going to be like our ring money. So then I was like, oh no, I don't know if we can afford rings. And then I remembered my sisters both gave us like wedding cards. And I was like, I bet there's something in here. So I grabbed the envelopes, we opened it up, and it was $200. So then we went to Chinatown, got these rings for $150, both of them, and they're like gold Saudi rings. I'm obsessed with it. Love it. Best decision.
Yes.
All right.
$150 or pesos?
Dollars.
Oh, it's still cheap. You know, 150.
Yeah. 75 a ring.
And she's fully satisfied? Okay.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yep.
Yo. The first wedding, I know it was during COVID, so you haven't experienced the full
before COVID.
Oh, before COVID. Okay. So have you experienced a full-blown Filipino wedding yet? Like inviting the whole barangay, inviting everybody. Everybody's welcome to eat. Come on.
Yeah. I think I'm going to experience that with my Vincent's wedding in December. I did go to my first Filipino wedding this month, but it was very small again because most of Jonathan's friends are kind of like Jonathan and I, like we don't want to spend too much money. We don't have. Just really simple weddings. But my pinsan, he's getting married in his fiance's hometown. And I was like, oh my goodness, you're going to have like 400 people there.
Oh, man.
It's going to be so much. They're like planning for only 150, but we both know.
Right.
Wow.
Have you, man, I have a lot of questions to ask because, you're in the Philippines right now. You experience all these things. Have you experienced the pop? You call it pop because you're from Midwest, right? You don't call it Coke.
Yeah.
We call in the Philippines we call what do we call it? Coke. We call it Coke. Yeah. Have you ever had pop in a plastic?
Yeah, the orange flavor, the Royale, I think.
The Royale.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah,
existed.
the Royale. Yeah. But I don't really drink sodas normally, but I tried them here and I was like, they're so much better. So I drink it a little more than I do in the States.
Okay.
The nice. Coke in the Philippines is really good. It's so much better.
So I'm like, what are they putting in the US? Like it tastes like chemical.
Yeah, I think it's the corn syrup. Because in the Philippines, I think we have sugar cane sugar. That's what we use. So it's a lot better and it's a lot healthier too. But yeah. Are you picky with food? Hopefully you're not.
I hope you're not.
I hope you're not picky.
Are you?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay.
I will try any food, right? I've tried isaw, balut, I don't care. I will try any food. But if I have to eat a meal, I won't probably order seafood because I never had seafood until I was probably in my 20s.
All right.
I didn't grow up with it. Yeah. I never had it. And my sisters are the same way, so it's not just me. Seafood is really hard for us to eat.
Interesting.
Okay.
I wish I loved it though. I wish I did.
Yeah. I mean, it's still expensive out there, even though we're thousands of islands, seafood is still expensive. Lobster is still expensive. Crabs are still expensive. Maybe not as expensive in here.
I guess. Now, since we're on the topic of food, how about food portion? Is it too small for you? I mean, okay. Let me premise this because I'm small.
You didn't ask women these questions, diba?
Wait. What'd you say?
She said questions. I caught that. I lost my
train of thought. I'm sorry.
He's asking me if the portions are too small for me.
I'm just saying because portions out there are small. Oh Jesus, Mary Joseph. Portions out there in the Philippines are small. Now I just want to know your reaction to that. Is that just perfect for you, or is it just not enough for you?
Yeah, I think the the what I noticed it the most, the portion sizes are for fast food. That's when you can really see the comparison, right? Like, oh, the normal cups are like this big. What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's,
But when you're going to someone's house, I think the portion sizes are way different than if you go out
oh yeah.
Yeah.
to like fast
When you're
food.
visiting at a family's home or a friend's home and they got a party going on or just a simple dinner and then all this food is left on, yeah, you got plenty to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
the struggle is me going to their homes and this and that, because I don't know if you're familiar with Samoans or any Polynesians around. If you have any friends of them, we love to eat. I mean, of course, the Filipinos love to eat, but we love to eat. Thus, you can see the resemblance.
Oh. You're just a food connoisseur. That's all it takes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Love it.
She made it so professional. All right. So speaking of fast food, so do you eat fast food here in U.S. or in the Philippines?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Have you tried the McDonald's spaghetti with rice and chicken?
Of course. Of course.
Oh man.
Jollibee. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Chowking, right?
Chowking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Inasal.
Mang
Yeah.
Inasal,
Mang
yeah.
Inasal is still
Yeah,
there.
Mang
Oh,
Inasal
yes.
is there. Yeah, it's still unlimited
Good.
rice, right?
Barbecue. I don't think so.
Really?
Actually, I don't know. Jonathan always orders it, so I'm
Interesting.
not sure.
Because when I'm always there, I'm not there for the chicken. I'm there for the rice.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah,
people
there
get
for the rice.
yeah, because they get mad at me. You get a one chicken that you get, and knowing it's unlimited, I get up to at least 9 at cap 10 cups of rice.
Wow. What's
Yeah.
your record? Now I have to know. I know Jonathan's rice record, but what's yours?
Mine is 9. That's my record, and that was like 10 years ago. I was a lot skinnier
Okay.
back then.
Yeah, when I was a big eater, I think mine was at 12.
Yeah,
12,
I can
13?
see that.
Oh, you got beat.
Really?
Jonathan's
Oh,
14. 14
No.
cups of rice.
Wow.
College days.
I'm ashamed.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
then you tell them try to eat
Gotta
10
step it up.
cheeseburgers from McDonald's or Jollibee.
Yeah.
Okay, one time I got really hungry. I went to Jollibee and I went to the cashier and I was with my ex at that time, and I ordered this like a massive amount of food. I think I ordered like 10 cheeseburgers, 3 large fries, and 1 large soda. And the register looked at me and was like, "Do you need 2 more? This is a family meal, right?" And I said, "No, this is all for me." And then I looked at my ex is like, "What do you want?" The register just dropped her jaw. I'm like,
And he ate the whole thing
I ate
in the store.
finished it.
Yeah.
Whole store stopped eating, just looked at me because they didn't realize someone like me can eat that much.
Yeah.
Even the security guard with the shotgun.
Well, they
looking
were
at me.
all staring at him.
Shotgun.
The shotgun and the M16. It's so
Oh my goodness.
it's so
How
intimidating.
long did it take you though?
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5-7 minutes. I'm masked.
Well, because you've seen the burger, they weren't that big.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
it's-
not big.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
it's more bun than the meat, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I know it's not enough. So that's
Yeah.
why I asked for more. But
Right,
still,
right.
I mean, I wasn't aiming for the attention or anything. I was just hungry, and I looked up when I got to the 7th or 8th burger. I looked up and I see everybody looking at me like, okay, this is just getting uncomfortable.
This dude ate another Filipino. All right, I have a segment here before we continue further.
I feel ashamed. I feel
So
ashamed.
you've been in the Philippines for
no.
over a year, right? You said over a year. You've been in the Philippines.
yeah, almost a year and a half in June.
A year and a half. All right. As a Filipino, born and raised in the Philippines, I am entitled and required to test you some Filipino pictures and topics that I want you to figure out the name. I want you to know the name or any stories. You can share the stories if you experienced this, ate this. It's not just food, okay? You ready for this? It's only 8 items. I think 8 or 7 items. It's only 8 or 7 items, and all you have to do is tell me the name and if you have any story about it. You ready?
You've been there for a year. I know you got this.
Yeah, you got this. You got this.
You got this.
All right. So here's the first one is, what is the name of this?
Taho.
Taho. Yeah, nice.
Okay, she got it.
All right,
She
you
got
got
it.
that.
Okay.
Do you like taho? Do you eat taho
Have
in
you
the
tried
morning?
the
Yes, I've eaten it, the strawberry one and the regular.
They have
Yeah,
strawberry?
no, they have different kinds.
Baguio!
Yeah,
Oh,
in
in Baguio,
Baguio.
that's
Remember
right, that's right.
who said that?
Yeah.
Bunny
said that,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. All right, here's the next one. The next one is
Ooh.
Bicycle,
huh?
right?
What was that?
Bicycle? Or,
Yeah.
is it bike?
Yeah, it's a
Is
bike.
it called the same thing?
No, it's called pedicab.
Oh, pedicab. Okay.
Yeah, pedicab. Have you ridden a pedicab before?
Not in the Philippines, but in New York.
Oh,
Or, was it
really?
New York? Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
pedicabs in New York?
I didn't know that.
I
Oh,
think so. It was a long time ago with my
okay,
parents. Yeah.
okay. How
Oh,
about
man.
jeepney? Have you ridden a jeepney before? What was that experience?
Yeah, even on the top.
Oh, really?
wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ah, wow.
In Sagada, yeah, at the top. So there's not much traffic, so it's, pretty safe.
Must have been a beautiful view then.
Oh, I
So
bet.
pretty. I felt alive.
All right, here's the next one. Who's that?
Lenny!
She knows.
She knows Lenny. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
So you're getting there. You're getting in the
She's
culture for
officially
sure.
becoming a local.
Exactly. All right, here's the next one.
Is it Betamax?
Nope.
It's the blood pork soup, right?
Oh, I guess
No?
it depends on the city, but typically.
Oh, right. The Betamax is the square, but that's
Yep.
it's Dingun.
Yes, you got it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Dinuguan.
Dinuguan.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Betamax is the blood and they grill it. That's just the
Square,
grill.
right?
Yeah, they grill that. This
Yeah.
one is soup, so they call it Americans call it chocolate soup.
Yeah, they do. That's the code here.
All right, here's another one.
Lechon.
Yes, you better know that. Yep. Did you have that in your wedding?
No, but we did have a boodle fight.
Oh, boodle fight. Okay. On a banana leaf.
Banana leaf, surfboard table.
Oh,
Yes.
that's the best.
That is the best. All right, here's another one.
What is the initials for it? MTR?
Oh, you
Oh.
got it. Yeah, it's MRT.
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 Yeah.
See, I told you I'm dyslexic.
Have you ridden an MRT before?
Yes.
Yeah, the
I have.
crowd, right?
Now, did they?
It wasn't so crowded when I was there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, is the LRT and the MRT connected now?
Yeah, they are. They've been connected for a long time.
I see.
Have you been to SM North EDSA in like a Trinoma area? The only place where you can find Taco Bell. No?
I haven't eaten Taco Bell here yet, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
Have you
that's
been
the-
to Trinoma though? Are you familiar with the malls?
Some malls, yes. I don't know. There's so many malls.
I know. I agree.
I'm having a hard time keeping them.
I agree. I mean, I guarantee
Yeah.
there's a bunch of SMs, but yeah, there's so many malls. And when I first arrived, I didn't think there were that many malls at all. I gotta tell everybody, the moment I jumped out of the plane, I was in shock. And what shocked me, I looked at the glass windows, like, oh, they got glass. They got a hallway. I thought I'm gonna walk into a jungle. I kid you not. I thought I was gonna be in the jungle. Yeah.
All right. Here's another one. All right, last two. This one. Whew,
Ooh.
you should know that. It's fish.
Of course, it's fish.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know this. I told you I don't eat fish.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that.
Uh,
It's usually sold by a lady walking around and yelling at the name of this fish.
is this eaten with champorado? Tuyo?
Oh no, not that. It's
No.
this one is bigger.
Oh,
It's bigger. It's called tinapa. You know?
I don't know.
No?
No,
Yeah,
I'm
she
not
didn't
sure.
like seafood.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do know your tuyo though. Like
That was
that.
good.
I can't eat that. I can't eat the tuyo. It's too
Really?
salty. No, I can't do it. I can't.
For
do it.
someone that eat with patis and you don't,
Yeah, I can't do it. It's too salty.
Okay.
You probably don't eat it because it's fish.
it's
right?
fish. Period. And she don't even like fish sauce.
Yeah, I know.
I've tried it, but
All right, here's the last one, and this person reminds me of Jonathan. I don't know why, but it reminds me of him. Do you know who this
No,
is?
you,
No.
no clue.
Really?
No.
he's a celebrity
No.
there.
Really? It's
Yeah.
Coco
What?
Martin.
Oh, that's Coco Martin.
Yeah. It's
You know,
Coco Martin.
Jonathan, he hates like telenovelas. He hates it. They wouldn't let me see it because he thinks it's so like he
Cheesy.
doesn't like that kind of stuff.
It makes sense. No, I get it.
He's not like a pop culture person.
Right.
So.
And he's a pastor too, so it makes total sense.
Makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, yeah, that's a lot of experience. I was gonna, if Jonathan joined us in this podcast, I was gonna ask him some names, pronouncing some names of Michigan cities. Like Mackinac. You know what I mean? That was my. I know.
Look. I don't know if you can tell.
I can't see.
My sweater says Drummond Island on it.
Oh yeah, see, like places like that, like places in Michigan, because we have a lot of weird names in Michigan.
Yeah.
And you can't even pronounce them. Yeah.
There's a bunch of weird names.
Yeah, like the Mackinac is Mackinac.
Yeah, and then I thought the town Charlotte or Charlotte. I thought it was Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte.
Charlevoix.
Charlevoix. Yeah, we have a lot of weird names around
And then
here.
Kalamazoo
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo. Yeah, that's a weird one.
Look, she's laughing. It sounds like calamansi.
Sorry, I went Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo.
I know.
My bad. My bad.
Like the first time I read about Lansing, I'm like, oh, someone's drunk. Is this a drunk city? Because it's Lansing in our language is drunk. So
drunk city.
Yeah. Did you see what I did there? I said I included you, our language, because you're one of us now. You're Filipino now.
Yeah,
Come on, man. You're Filipino. Yes.
She's more Filipino than I am.
I know, right?
She married one too, and she speaks it more than I do.
Right. And she got the accent. She got everything.
Right.
She's spot on.
I'm ashamed.
Was there any culture or any I don't want to say, not necessarily like culture, anything, gestures that we do in the Philippines that you like either find it weird or appreciate? Like, for example, the mano po, right?
Oh.
That's a very unique Filipino, very unique Filipino gesture. Anything that you find weird or find like, oh, that makes so much sense, why they do that?
I think pointing with your lips makes a lot of sense. It's harder. I don't think a lot of Filipinos are doing it now anymore because of masks. I'm so sad that
that's
masks
right.
taken away.
Oh my God,
But,
you're right.
Yeah, it's so sad because how are you supposed to, because if you point, it's obvious, but if you just
yeah,
you could be secretive about it, which I really like. Yeah,
that's right. Wow, that makes so much sense.
She even did that.
I know
she got
did.
it. She picked it up.
She got it. Yeah. Yo, let me tell you a story about this tragic story of me with pointing with my lips. I moved here first month in the Philippines. We had a youth group, right, in our old church, and one girl, just one of the students, grabbed my hat and put her on. Right, and we were in a crowded area. It's very loud, and nothing. It's like I can't say anything. Like I could tell her, give my hat back, but she wouldn't hear me. So I just said, to get her attention, and I did this. Like I'm pointing at the hat, and she was like, "Oh no!" I said, "No, the hat. Give me that." She thought I was trying to give me a kiss.
Oh, that's funny.
It was the most awkward thing ever.
I had a similar tragic or weird moment because I brought something from here that's a cultural thing in my country to the Philippines, and specifically to the Bible school that we went. So the group that we were in, we're supposed to have separate girls and separate boys, and how we greet in our church, we greet like family. So we hug and we kiss on the cheek and stuff like that. Of course, and then I did that same thing with one of the girls at our school. Oh man, I felt bad. The look on her face felt so like something innocent was taken away from her, but it was a normal thing for me. I just, I came to her, hugged her, kissed her on the cheek, and walked away.
Yeah. Wow.
And she was in shock, but it didn't faze me. She just was in shock. And
speaking of which, because we talked about some of the cultures that was like the culture shock, telling you like, oh, you gained weight or you lost weight and things like that. How about some cultures that you brought from America to the Philippines? Yeah.
So I didn't really get so homesick, but like my first couple months here was like really lockdown. So we were like trapped inside. We couldn't really go anywhere, and I was really craving American food. And most of the times you can find American food here, but there's like some exceptions, like a really good muffin.
Yeah.
I need to find a really good muffin. So I was telling Jonathan, I was like, I think I'm a little homesick. I'm like a little sad. I don't have any friends. I can't go out.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you buy me an oven? So he bought me like a little pink oven.
Oh.
So now I like bake for the worship team every Sunday, so they can have a little food before they go out. Yeah. And now everyone, they used to like not touch anything I brought until Jonathan would eat it, but now like my tito would be like, Anna, what are you bringing today? Like they get so excited and like walk over.
Wait, why wouldn't they touch the food that you make? That's kind of weird.
That's actually, I don't know. It's kind of common. Like, unless someone eats it first, they're not going to take it.
I've never heard
Even
that.
with my family, like I baked them some banana cake or some banana bread this weekend when my Lola came and visited us in Cagaite, and no one would touch it. Like his pinsans, his titas, no one will eat it. And I told Jonathan, I'm like, I'm so sad. I don't think they're like my food that I cooked. And Jonathan's like, oh no, I'll be supportive. I'll have a bite. So he took a little bite. And then everyone else was like, ooh, what's this? And then like my teacher like took it away afterwards. She's like, oh, this is all mine. I think it just takes one person.
You know what I think? I'm just assuming here, okay? You can test it and you can tell me the updates and some of the information. Gather information about this. This is what I think. I think a lot of them are a little intimidated because, you're American. And if you make something, they think it's too special that they don't want to be the first person to get the food. Now they're waiting for Jonathan to do it because you guys are married together. Now when Jonathan eats it, it's like, oh, it opens up the door for everybody else to eat it because now someone else touch it. It's the same culture of, have you noticed the culture of if it's one piece left, nobody will touch it? Exactly. Yep. Right? Yeah. I think it's the same idea in all of that. It's like we have this, it's the last piece. I'm gonna be shy. I don't want to touch it. And same idea of there's food there. It's too special. I'm not gonna touch that food.
Man, that's true. Yeah, one time they did that, and we ate pizza together. I sat around with my friends, and one of them said, "Man, we're real Filipinos. We leave the last food not to share it, to touch it." I told everyone, like, that's what y'all Filipinos do. This is what us Samoans do. We grab it, ate it, nothing. And everybody, I broke the ice, but I felt good about that. I felt good.
Yeah.
How about the culture of leaving the shoes outside the house? Did you find that weird?
It makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense.
Now I'm grossed out when Americans like have their shoes on and then they go sit on their bed. I'm like, oh,
right?
Gross.
Right? Yeah, and it's the same thing with as soon as Filipinos get home, they change clothes right away. There's a home clothes and there's an outside clothes, right?
Yeah.
I
I'm
didn't know
always
those.
stealing Jonathan's t-shirts and he's like, get your own home clothes.
Get your own home clothes.
I'm like, but your t-shirts, they're so nice and comfy.
Right. Which, by the way, Jonathan's English is very good. Yeah. He's very fluent. Yeah. Some of the accounts, some of the videos that you shot with him, I could hear his accent. He got some American accent in there. Yeah. That's good. It's good. It's probably it's probably boosting his morale too, because that's one thing for Filipinos. When you tell them that their English is really good, makes us really, really happy.
Yeah, and feel smart.
Yeah. Well, hopefully someday you get to visit some other places, just by yourself, because you said you've been to BGC, right?
Oh yeah, BGC. Yeah, that's where when I would visit, we'd most of the time stay in BGC because Jonathan was working for like IBM.
Yeah.
So it's closer there, so we didn't have to commute back and forth.
Gotcha. Yeah. You said you're working at home. What do you do? Do you work in the Philippines or in the U.S.?
I work in the U.S. I'm like an online teacher for like a little small school.
Gotcha.
So it's part-time right now, so I might be trying to branch out to some other things.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this, but because of your accent and you being American, you won't have any problems looking for a job out there.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
It's just the student loans that want me to have a U.S. job.
Yes, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Did you find out how much is a student, like how much is tuition fee in the Philippines in comparison to American?
I was so mad. I was so mad when I found out.
I know.
I was like, I can get a master's degree for $2,000.
Agreed. I am so with you. Man.
Yo, that's
You can get the same. Yeah, go ahead.
And then most Filipinos, like, if their families can support it, they're not working during school. And I was like, I had to work 20, 30 hours every week being a full-time student. I had to volunteer. And then at night, I'll talk to Jonathan for an hour or two. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
She's like, yo,
Man,
that's so funny.
true.
All right, well, let's talk about your content creation, because was that the whole initial plan of doing this, is to make a content? What's your plan to go viral? Because you have some viral videos out there. Was that the whole goal of making TikTok and Instagram?
no, not really. I just started TikTok like in the middle of the pandemic because my roommates had it, and I was like, that's lame. It's like Snapchat, and no one's gonna use that. And then I was like, okay, wait, this is actually really addicting.
Right.
So then I started making more content, especially like my life in Chicago. So I made content about like my guinea pig, about flowers. So I used to be like a florist, but then when I moved to the Philippines, I started doing the same thing, just making videos about my life and like what I do daily and about Jonathan and stuff. And then it just got more traction. And I think most of the reason why I have the followers I have is because, like what you're saying, right? It's a dream for Filipinos to marry a white woman. So I realized like that's mostly why I have all the followers that I have.
Gotcha. Yeah, because probably the majority of audience are Filipinos, right?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. Because I guess because the algorithm too is hitting a lot in the Philippines than in America. Although I found your account just randomly in my FYP. I don't have a lot of Filipino accounts in my FYP. I don't know why. I'm just starting to have them because I message people. It's like, hey, do you want to do a podcast with us and things like that. But yeah, so that's awesome. What did Jonathan felt about you doing content creation?
He's mostly positive about it, but sometimes like he's like a typical guy, a typical guy doesn't like pictures taken of them or videos,
that was me.
So
that was me.
sometimes he's like, I don't want to go there. I'm like, let's go see the sunset. I don't want to go. Like, I just want to sit here, relax. But I'm a very like I get hyper a lot of times. I'm like, let's do this, let's go here, let's go, let's do that. Yeah. So sometimes I think my energy level is a little too much for him, he's pretty exhausted from work, so yeah. But he's supportive.
Oh man,
that's good.
That's awesome. All right.
Yes, how old are you guys?
I am can you guess? Since you're in the Philippines now, since you're in the Philippines and the age, right? You can tell the age.
Don't get offended though. Don't get offended. Okay?
I'm already.
You can say I'm 75. I don't really care. Yeah. Yeah. It might be different for him.
AJ, I think you're.
She got to get closer.
33.
Oh, that was really close. Nice. How about him?
It's Waka, right?
Yes, Waka.
Yeah.
Waka. 29.
You're younger? You are younger than me?
I love you. So in reality, it's the age is switched. I'm actually going to turn 33 soon, and he's 30.
I'm 31.
31.
I'm 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was close. Guess how old I am then?
Oh crap!
That's a dangerous
I won't
question.
get offended. I won't get offended.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
12.
I'm in the same spot. Okay, so I'm gonna do my analytical thing because I went to your TikTok and your Instagram and you guys' wedding. So I would say you're about 23.
24.
Okay.
24. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That makes more sense.
You see, why I reacted that I love you so much, because here's why. I was only 18, fresh out of high school, went to college in the Philippines, and the people around me, the first thing that they say, not even hi, they says, since you know the word, the language, sir po, are you 40? Bro. That hurt so much. That doubled my age. And they saw my reactions like, oh, sorry po. Are you 36? 32? Like, just stop. I'm going to die old. I'm going to die looking so old at a young age.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it hurt.
That was one of my problems, too, when we moved here. Because I couldn't tell the age. Like, to me, 15-year-old girls looked like 21 to me.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a struggle dating or finding someone to date until I met my wife. And like, how old are you? I'm 18. All right, good. We're good.
Age of consent. We're good.
Right. All right. You're good.
But it's true, yeah. Because I think American girls wear a lot of makeup, and Filipinos are very natural.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think there's
a
a big
do.
difference.
that's a more preferred thing. Did you experience the more? Because here's the thing, right? In the Philippines, Filipinos want to be white or have a fair skin like you.
Yeah.
But here in America, it's the opposite. We want-
Yeah.
That's why we have tanning salon. And was was it shocking when you find out we have whitening soap, whitening lotion, whitening cream,
A
whitening
lot of
everything?
whitening. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little shocking. And then when I realized some of Jonathan's things had it, I was like, how could you? Your skin is beautiful. How could you?
Yes.
And then he's like, it's almost all we have. Like, it's so hard to find it without. And then I was like, okay. But now I won't even get mad at him if I see him with some
Really?
whitening
Oh,
creams.
man.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
allow it in my house.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, that's with my wife. So we will go on a cruise or go somewhere, and she will get tan, right? For I don't know, she will be there for 2 hours. Burn. I'll be under the sun with a towel. Tan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's worse, whenever we try to cover ourselves, try to find the shade, she'll get mad at us. It's
Yeah.
like, why are you in the shade? Enjoy the sun. No, we're dark enough. I don't want to get any darker than this.
We hate the sun. I don't like the sun.
I don't like it.
I still have my Filipino trait of I don't want to be too dark. I'm okay. I'm okay with this. Do you
man.
miss the snow?
I think what I miss is like the seasonal activities, not so much the seasons, because
Right.
I can handle the heat. The heat's not a problem, but I miss the seasonal things to tell time.
Yeah.
Because when you're leaving somewhere with 4 seasons, the time goes by really fast because you're like, okay, spring we're gonna do this, Easter, blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
yeah.
Summer
Oh, wow.
we're gonna do this, go to carnivals. You
Yeah.
know, fall we're gonna carve pumpkins. So it's a
Oh,
way
wow.
to tell time, and visually too. Like if I grew up farmland, so I can see how high the corn is, and
Yeah.
it just like in your head, you know what time of year it is. But here, it's just almost the same besides rainy season.
Yeah.
So that's what I miss.
I've never seen someone think of the season as more of time.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Especially, here in Michigan, all of a sudden, like just one day, without even noticing, all the leaves are gone. And it's the same, it's the same thing in spring. It's like, oh, all the leaves are back. What? My allergies are acting up.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Speaking of holidays, how are your holidays? What do you think of them? Because we don't have a lot. We don't have a lot of celebratory holidays. But yeah,
I think Filipinos are always celebrating.
it's
Something.
true.
It's always someone's birthday. It's always something to celebrate. Like my mom's birthday was just yesterday,
Yeah.
and oh my, do Filipinos not sleep? Like I really don't know. I don't understand. How is the energy level the same? Like my parents are in their mid-50s, and we're still in Antipolo celebrating with their friends, and it's 10:30,
man,
and I had
yeah.
already taken a nap on the table for 1 hour. I was done. I was out.
Nope.
And I'm asking my mom, I was like, how are you not tired? She's like, oh, well, we slept 2 hours last night. 2 hours? I was like, no. Is my body aging? What's going on?
Man, that's
Yeah.
funny. That's
So
funny.
how's the Christmas and New Year?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. For the past, I think it's 4 or 5 years, even when me and Jonathan aren't married, I'll still spend Christmas in the Philippines. I'll leave my parents, I'll leave my family just to spend Christmas in the Philippines.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you should visit. One time you and Jonathan should visit Pampanga. That's where I was born and I grew up. I was born and raised in Pampanga. Well, yeah, I was born in Pampanga, but I grew up in Manila, like in Pasay, and then we went back to Bulacan / Pampanga, and that's the rest of my life till we moved here. But the Christmas in Pampanga is so much better. You remember the
parol?
Yeah, the paroles. Oh man, paroles there is not for prisoners. The paroles there is for Christmas. Yeah, it's beautiful. You need to go. You guys need to visit and be there. But I want to go to Baguio. You have a question?
Yeah. Since we're on holidays, I mean, you love Christmas so far and New Year's. Now, I don't get me wrong. I love Jesus. I love him to death. But the week that I
This
hit
has
the
to do with Easter, right?
Yes.
Holy Week?
Yeah.
Yep.
I do not like Holy Week. I do not like Holy Week.
The pabasa,
and they will do it at the latest of night. I'm like, I'm trying to sleep. I got school tomorrow. I'm trying to sleep.
Filipinos don't sleep, remember?
I know that. No, don't get me wrong. I am used to people having karaoke every night. They can at least somehow get a tune in there. But when it's those people from the cathedral, I don't know what they singing. I don't know what note they're on. It's just, please.
Yeah.
Now that sounds like a dying cat to me.
We looked at your YouTube account. I'm gonna link, by the way, to whoever's watching this and listening to this. I'm gonna link to your social media in the bio. If you guys want to follow Jonathan and Anne in their journey being American/Filipino relationship, marriage, and things like that. So I looked at your YouTube, and you only have one video posted so far. Any plans, or what are you gonna do next?
Yeah, so sad story is my email got hacked. So this is my second YouTube channel. I had one before, and we had like, I think 5 or 6 videos of our whole love story with Jonathan. And I got Jonathan to film YouTube with me. I was like,
nice.
wow, he really loves me. But my email got hacked, so I have no access to that account anymore. So that's why I have to do a new YouTube channel that I just launched last week, I guess. Now.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Any are you gonna keep doing that then? Your journey and your life in the Philippines?
Yeah, I'm gonna make more content, but I'm gonna make more YouTube content for ladies because my analytics for Instagram and TikTok are majority men or more men, and I'm like, I don't understand why. So I'm gonna make more like girly content, more crafts. Well, I understand why, but
yeah.
Oh man.
All right, I have another question. Have you ever been called? Okay, so this is like if there's any check boxes, I don't know how long is that list gonna be. If there's any list of checkbox, right, of qualifications to be a Filipino, one of them will be someone called you like this. Psst. Have you ever been called like that by your parents or anybody? Maybe Jonathan. Psst.
Maybe by my parents, but not Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah. I always associate that sound with like like calling a dog or something, you know, like always like my dad just called like yesterday when I was with them, they called my little brother like that, like, you know, and I just started laughing so hard because their family dog Kiwi, that's how they call the family dog Kiwi too, and I was like, not you calling him the same way as the dog. And he's like a street dog too. I was like, no.
Oh, since we're on the mannerism, how about the hand gesture? You know, because at first, before I learned, this means coming here.
Come here.
Yeah, no, come here. But at first, I used to instead of come here. Come here.
Yeah.
So apparently that's a different meaning in PH.
Yeah,
right?
it's different. Yeah, they don't do that.
Yeah, I think it's more of a sexual gesture.
Yeah. But this is come here.
Yeah,
come here.
This is what they do.
Yeah. But like, if there's like an older lady that wants me to come somewhere, she goes like this.
That's it.
You know,
that's
the grip
it.
with around your wrist,
yes,
yank you.
Yeah,
that's it.
Speaking of like yanking and hitting, did you notice the way Filipinos laugh when we're like super excited and she got it.
Oh, it must
my
be
sisters
painful.
do the same thing, so we're always slapping something when we're having like a laugh.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yo, that is
she
so
got
awesome.
the full package.
I
oh
know.
man.
I know.
She's Filipino. She's
right?
Filipino.
Is there
man.
when you and Jonathan decided to buy a house? Is there any place in the Philippines you guys decided to stay?
We're just renting for right now, but I think if we had a dream, it will be to go to a province or somewhere. I love the mountains. I would love to be in Tanay, have like a cow, some chickens.
Yes,
because you know how expensive milk is.
Oh
I
yeah.
I just want a cow instead.
Yeah.
Have you been to Taytay or Tagaytay?
Tagaytay.
Yeah, Tagaytay. Yep, I was there last weekend.
Oh.
But I prefer Tanay.
Okay.
It's so congested now.
Tanay Rizal, right? Tanay Rizal? Tanay Rizal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're closer. We're in Cainta, so it's like
way closer. And Tanay and Cainta is really close to Manila. They're almost like Metro Manila area. like that in Laguna, you know, and those parts of those provinces. So they're like provinces, but not really a province because they're too close to the city. But you go farther and farther, it's like, yeah, those are provinces.
Tanay. Where is that?
Tanay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will explain it to you, but you won't know.
I'm
That's Antipolo.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Antipolo.
Further
Yeah,
up.
there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
So I know. See, she did a better job than you. What's wrong with you? And you're blooded Filipino.
It's like asking you, so where is Orange County in California again? Oh, it's in this county. It's
All
like,
right.
oh, okay, where is that?
Okay,
same thing.
fair. Okay, but I've been there, so I should have known. So and you would know, but she knew better. Okay,
guess.
Antipolo, I know where that is. Okay,
You just know people who lives in Antipolo.
Yeah, I do, but I've been there.
Oh, okay.
That was the best spot to see the fireworks.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Speaking of fireworks, how was your New Year?
What did we do? I don't think we did much for New Year because of COVID. But before COVID, when I would visit, we would go to like my mom's province in Quezon, and we have like the what is it called? Catholic candles, like the little streamer things.
Yeah.
And, I think Jonathan burnt his hand or something.
Oh
like,
my god.
Yeah.
Yikes.
You know how it is.
Yikes. Nice.
And all the dogs.
right. The fireworks is like my best thing. Americans think that the 4th of July is loud. Nope, you've never been to the
No.
Philippines, and you
No.
hear people are so like blown away. They're blown away.
Yeah, it's literally blown away.
Yeah.
I got so caught up in one time. I was so in the moment. I felt like I was at war. So I did like a little role play in a little small place that I was at. I mean, as big as I am,
Yeah.
I'm like down there. Everyone get down.
The cinturón de Judas, you know. yeah. It's fun. Yo, that's an
Man,
amazing.
that's awesome.
We cannot wait. For you to experience more about
Yeah,
the
man, I'm
Philippines
excited.
and the Philippine culture. I'm gonna do this. What do you call this? The unsolicited request. I guess it's more like
guess.
an unsolicited request. If you guys get married here in the States, we're welcome to be invited.
Yeah, we'll just walk in.
You know?
Of course.
Oh man.
But yeah, that is so awesome. Man, we hope you enjoy more
Yeah.
about the Philippines. Here's my what?
No, I just remembered
Yeah.
about enjoying.
Yeah,
How
go
did you
ahead.
like the cockroaches out there?
Oh.
There's cockroaches in Chicago. The only difference is they fly here. But I don't care. Like, I'll slap them with my hand. Like,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
not a big deal.
Okay.
We have a lot of different kinds of spiders. That's like
Have you seen
spiders
them?
everywhere.
The ones fighting as well.
So I don't know what restaurant it is, but it's like a restaurant where you see ta'al, and it's the traditional hut styles.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of trees and hammocks. And my parents took us there. I think it's the last day I was in the Philippines for the first time, so 2017. And I was on a hammock enjoying the beautiful view. And I look up, and there's spiders in the trees. Huge nest. Not just like spiders, but like spiders.
Yeah.
And I had a panic attack. I was like, what if they drop on me? It was so scary, and there were so many of them.
Yeah.
But they said, oh, they just stay in the trees. Don't worry. They just stay in the trees. I was like, for how long?
Until they're gone. Where are they? Where's the mosquito?
Yeah.
Where's the mosquito? Where's the spider? Yo, here's my last question. Okay, here's my last thing, and I'm gonna ask you this. For the sake of all of if you're watching this podcast right now and you're not Filipino but you want to meet a Filipino, or you probably already met a Filipino but you don't know how you're gonna adapt in the Philippines, or you might be scared, or you might be like worried that you're not gonna learn the culture, or you're struggling to learn the culture, what would you tell them?
Honestly, just do it. You only have one life. Like, why would you want to live a comfortable life? That's the most boring thing you can do, is live a comfortable life.
Nice.
If you have no regrets, what are you really living?
Wow. Yeah.
You
that's
know?
true.
If you're not struggling, if you're not having a hard time,
Yeah.
you're doing something wrong.
Hey, you move here.
I don't know if I regret it.
No regrets marrying a Filipino, right? No regrets.
Voila.
Voila. Nice.
Nice.
So if you met a Filipino or a Filipina, or you're
Galing.
planning to to meet them or get to know them. You'll probably match them on Tinder. It's like, man, you're Filipino. I don't know. I'm a little worried about that. Just do it. Like what she said, just do it. It's a completely different experience. Just make sure though, and I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna attest to all my Filipinos who were born in the Philippines. It's gotta be a Filipino, not a Filipino who's born here in America and raised in America. Not the American culturized Filipino. It has to be like the real Filipino. You have to have the real deal. Because if you have the real deal, like what she said, they will clean for you. They will take care of you.
They'll feed you.
They will feed you. Yeah, we're
and
good.
Most of the time, the toxic masculinity isn't there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest difference between American men. Like they're not going to carry your bags or your purse. They're not going to open the door for you. But Jonathan's like, why wouldn't I? This is my girl, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Jonathan, love you, man.
Dude, I know. We could have meet him. Maybe next time we'll hit you up again. And if you're willing and he's willing, maybe we can do another podcast with him. Because I want to know, like, what kind of pickup lines did he try to use on you? Because I know there's got to be a pickup lines out there that he used. You know, he's a pastor and he's Filipino. There's got to be a pickup line out there that he used. You know?
Oh, that's funny.
Are you tired? Why? Because you've been running in my head all day. You know, that kind of pickup line. I used some of those to my wife and it worked. So, I mean,
that's funny.
all right. Well, and we want to say thank you, man. Thank you so much for doing this podcast.
Awesome.
We totally appreciate you. We enjoyed doing this. So hopefully you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, really.
As much as we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, hopefully we'll hit you up again and we'll do a podcast with Jonathan and we get to meet him and ask him, and maybe, you know, potentially there's some Filipinos listening to this and they're like, I want to get some pointers on how to, you know, I actually I actually found a book when I moved here in America. My uncle gave me a book. It says How to Date a White Girl, and it's written by a Filipino. It's not a joke.
Look on her face.
No,
Yeah,
send me the link to that book. I need to see it.
It says How to Date a White Girl.
It's the first chapter about pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, so nice.
Starbucks.
Yeah,
man.
no, not in Michigan. It's Big B in Michigan, not Starbucks.
Oh, you better believe I took Jonathan to Big B right away.
Yeah.
And he was like, the portion sizes? Like, right? It's like 16 ounces? Which is the smallest size?
Yeah, 16
I
ounces.
remember.
Yeah, 16 ounces.
16
yeah.
ounces, yeah. The smallest size.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, that's our large. That's our large in the Philippines. Yeah.
Yes.
And then till you see the 24 ounces. What is this? Diabetes?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much, Anne, again, for doing this podcast. We appreciate you, man. Yeah. Hopefully we'll talk again.
Yeah.
And plug yourself. Where can people find you in the social media world if you want to be followed? Just at least in the social media.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not real life.
Not real life.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok. My name is Annetan, ANNETANN 101. And then Instagram's a little different. It's Anne, again, ANNE, Tan, but one N and then 10.
Oh, nice.
And then YouTube is just Antan. Just like my TikTok name.
Antan.
Yeah.
All right, Antan.
Man.
Yeah. Well,
This
awesome.
is awesome. This is great.
Like I said, if you guys haven't followed us, make sure you subscribe, like this, follow us in all of our social media account, the Maximum Filipino Show, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Tinder, not Tinder.
Tinder.
LinkedIn, not Tinder.
This guy.
Joke lang.
We're not.
Joke lang.
Joke lang.
LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn. You guys can follow us there. And thank you again. I want to say thank you again to our guest Anne for joining us.
Yes.
And to all of you watching this, please comment down below if you agree and if you enjoyed this podcast. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone out there. Bye.
Thank you.
Joanne.